Welcome to ADAS Garage, where we dive under the hood of advanced driver assistance systems. From calibrations to cutting-edge tech, we explore the innovations shaping the future of vehicle safety and automation. Buckle up, because the road ahead is smarter than ever. This podcast is brought to you by Centric, providing OEM-level ADAS calibrations designed to support your business, powered by Burke Porter.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something critical in the auto world. Those advanced driver assistance systems, ADS. They're meant to make cars safer, but improper servicing. That's creating a whole new set of risks.
Yeah. If you're in repairs, insurance, manufacturing, these systems, automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, they're basically standard now.
Yeah.
Our sources confirmed that something like 94% of new cars in 2022 had at least one AD feature.
And more are coming, right? Some systems are actually going to be required starting model year 2029.
Exactly. Mandatory tech.
So we got this really interesting white paper from a listener, and it makes a strong case, basically saying, yes, proper ADS calibration costs money up front, no doubt about it. But the net economic benefit, it argues it's huge, especially for OEMs, the repair industry, and definitely for insurers.
Right. So our mission today is to really drill down into the dollars and cents. We know the safety angle, but what's the actual financial impact of what people are calling the calibration gap? Okay, let's unpack this. But maybe before we dive into the finances, we need to really get why this calibration is so critical. What's the core problem with misalignment?
It really boils down to precision. These systems, they rely on cameras, sensors, and they operate with tolerances measured in millimeters, sometimes even fractions of a degree. Think about it. You replace a bumper, hit a bad pothole, even just normal wear and tear sometimes. Those sensors can shift just slightly.
And that tiny shift is enough to throw the whole system off.
Completely. Once they move, the foundation of that safety feature is, well, it's compromised. And we're not just talking theory here. Studies have actually measured this. Misalignments, even tiny ones like a fraction of a degree, can basically make the aid useless. It turns this expensive safety feature into, frankly, an unreliable liability.
Wow. The examples in the sources really drive this home. They make it easy to picture. Like one source mentioned an automatic lane keeping camera. If it was misaligned by only 0.6 degrees, that sounds tiny, right?
Lane's tiny, yeah.
But that tiny misalignment meant the car saw the lane line 27 inches away from where it actually was. That's halfway into the next lane.
Exactly. Or take automatic emergency braking, AEB. Another study found a 0.2 degree difference in camera alignment. Just 0.2 degrees determined whether the AEB stopped the car in time or slammed into something at 25 miles per hour.
So millimeters, fractions of degrees.
Mm-hmm.
They literally make the difference between a near miss and a serious crash.
Precisely. And that brings us to how big this problem actually is. The data suggests it's systemic in the repair industry. One source pointed to a 2020 study. It found 8% of ADAS calibrations were just being missed by body shops after a repair.
88%. That's almost everything. So most repaired cars with ADS might have compromised systems driving around.
That seems to be the implication.
Yeah.
And another data point, only about 12% of 2020 model year vehicles with AEB were getting recalibrated at all.
Why? What's the barrier?
Well, it often comes down to a few things. Many shops, they just don't have the specific equipment or maybe the technician training. Sometimes there aren't clear standard procedures for the manufacturer for every scenario. So faced with complexity or cost, the step just gets skipped.
Okay, so the safety risk from skipping calibration is huge, potentially catastrophic. Let's pivot to the money now, because the immediate pushback is always the cost, right? ADS repairs are more expensive. The AAA data backs this up. Adding ADS calibration can increase a repair bill by around 37%, maybe, $685 or more for just a minor fender bender.
That's the number people see up front, yes. And that's the hurdle.
So how do we frame this? How do you convince a shop owner or even the car owner paying the deductible that this extra cost is necessary?
Well, what's fascinating here is you have to shift the focus. You have to look past that initial, say, $685 and look at the much larger costs you're avoiding. Think about it. Vehicles with working AEB and forward collision warning. Studies show they have 50% fewer rear-end collisions. 50%.
Yes, that's a massive reduction.
Right. So suddenly that calibration cost looks pretty small compared to the cost of even one avoided collision, let alone half of them. And if you zoom out, look at the whole economy. The total cost of car crashes, economic, societal, it hit $340 billion back in 2019. That's billion with a B.
And let's pause there for a sec. When NHTSA, the safety agency, does these calculations, they actually put a statistical value on a human life. It's around $13.7 million in their analysis. It's a stark number. But it reminds you that avoiding even one fatal crash has enormous economic, let alone human, value.
Absolutely. So if we could close this calibration gap, get these systems working properly, even if it only reduced crashes by, say, a conservative 10%, that's $34 billion saved annually for the economy. That's the kind of net positive impact the white paper is talking about. It dwarfs the upfront costs.
And for the average driver, that initial sting of the repair bill, it fades, right? The sources say insurance usually covers recalibration costs, always or most of the time.
That's generally the case, yes.
And long term, if insurers are paying out fewer claims because ADAS is working, that should theoretically lead to lower premiums for everyone, or at least slower increases.
Which brings us neatly to the insurance companies themselves, because right now they're the ones really feeling the financial heat from crashes that maybe could have been prevented. Higher claims, more lawsuits.
Yeah, we saw the numbers. Payouts jumped, from $96 billion to $105 billion in just under a decade, ending in 2022. Properly working ADAS seems like the best tool they have to fight that trend.
It absolutely is. And we have hard data on claim reductions, like cars with rear AEB. They have almost 29% fewer claims for back-end crashes.
29%, okay.
And forward collision warnings cut bodily injury liability claims by over 17%. These aren't small percentages. They fundamentally change the risk profile for insurers. Huge savings potential.
But it's not just the cost of the damage claim itself, is it? It's illegal fees, too. Those seem to be spiraling.
Oh, definitely. The litigation costs are becoming enormous. One source mentioned that in 2023, insurers paid out something like $1.10 in legal defense costs for every $1 they collected in premiums.
More out than in, just on legal fees. Wow.
Yeah, driven partly by, well, let's call them opportunistic lawsuits. But the point is, if properly calibrated AD prevents the crash in the first place, then there's no incident to sue over. Prevention is way, way cheaper than going to court.
Makes sense. Okay, let's switch gears to the car makers, the OEMs. What's their stake in this calibration mess?
For them, it's largely about risk exposure, too. Legal risk. If AD's calibration isn't standardized and reliably performed by repair shops, the automakers can end up holding the bag legally. There was this case mentioned, Varela v. FCA in Arizona. It suggests automakers could even be sued for not including safety features that could have prevented an accident, even if not legally mandated at the time.
So the lack of standardized repair procedures across the aftermarket actually increases the OEM's liability.
It seems that way. If proper recalibration were the industry standard, the responsibility for a system failing after a repair could more clearly shift to the shop that did or didn't do the work correctly. Right now, it's murky, and that benefits no one except maybe plaintiff attorneys.
And beyond just avoiding lawsuits, there's a big upside for OEMs too, right? Reputation.
Huge upside. Ensuring these complex safety systems actually work as designed, post-repair. That builds trust. It boosts their safety image, customer satisfaction, loyalty. That directly impacts sales. It's good business.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, especially for our listeners maybe running service centers or body shops. We've talked a lot about avoiding costs and risks. Let's talk about making money.
Exactly, because this calibration gap isn't just a problem, it's actually a massive untapped revenue opportunity for the repair industry.
How so?
Well, ADAS calibration is a distinct service. It can be billed separately. The average charge is, a few $100s per calibration?
Right.
Multiply that by the number of cars needing it. That translates into significant new daily revenue for a shop. It brings more work into the service lane. It's a new high-value service they can offer.
And providing that service actually reduces their own risk, doesn't it? We talk about OEM liability, but shops are on the hook too if they skip calibration and something goes wrong.
Absolutely. They face serious legal exposure for improper repairs. We saw that in another case mentioned, Lomach v. Tesla. After a sensor was replaced, there was a crash, and the driver sued both Tesla and the repair shop.
So doing the calibration correctly protects the shop legally.
Precisely. Having clear, universal standards, especially performance-based ones, gives shops a benchmark. It shows they followed best practices, met their duty of care. It limits their liability.
And the market itself is just exploding, isn't it?
Growth projections are enormous. The overall ADAS calibration market could top $50 billion by 2030. Just the equipment needed could be a $1 billion market by 2033.
That's serious investment.
It is, but it fuels growth. it creates demand for skilled technicians. These are high-tech jobs that support the local service economy. It's not just a cost center. It's an engine for job creation and higher skill levels in the trade. And that's why the white paper pushes for performance-based standards. Instead of telling shops exactly how to do it step by step, you set a standard for the outcome.
Okay, so focus on the result, not the method.
Exactly. That encourages innovation. It pushes the industry towards developing smarter, maybe automated calibration systems that are faster, more precise, more efficient. That helps everyone: shops, techs, drivers, insurers.
So what does this all mean? Wrapping this up, our deep dive today, looking at these sources. It seems crystal clear. Getting ADAS calibration right, making it universal and standardized. It's not just about safety anymore. It's a strategic imperative for the entire industry. Yes, there's an upfront investment in tools and training, but the payback seems huge. Fewer crashes, lower liability, new revenue streams, economic resilience. Safety really is a business model here.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, standardizing this kind of high-tech service, it really pushes the whole automotive workforce forward. It creates these higher skill jobs that, can't easily be outsourced. It makes the whole system more robust for the future. But, there's still a big practical challenge. I want to leave you, the listener, with this final thought, something that comes right from the source material's focus on precision. We know OEMs often require calibrations to be done on incredibly level surfaces, sometimes allowing less than a 1-degree slope. One manufacturer even found that a 1.5-degree slope, just that tiny incline, could cause their emergency braking system to fail during calibration.
Wow, that's sensitive.
Apparently so. So the question is, given that extreme need for precision, how does the industry realistically reconcile these near-factory-level calibration standards with the physical limitations of your average retail repair shop floor? That seems like a major hurdle to overcome for widespread adoption.